What's up, peeps? I am literally like in full cleaning mode and like got the hat on, got the dust on the fingertips because I am doing my own energy work today. So super fun. That's why I want to drop in here and just share with you guys some of the really powerful techniques that I use, and particularly around when the seasons change. And spring equinox is like, ah, just my favorite. I mean, summer is like my season, but spring equinox is my favorite transition point because it represents birth. And to me, that's just such an exciting time of possibility and creativity. And I feel into this energy. What's super cool about this time of year, and what I notice with a lot of my clients, is that we tend to feel like we're facing a lot of challenges right now, and that's beautiful. It actually is showing up perfectly for you, because when we are faced with challenge, right, there's actually, hi everyone, good to see people popping on here. Hey Clara, love you too, girl. I'm so glad you're here. I know you're gonna love some of this stuff. It'll definitely speak to you. So yeah, there's actual alchemy in challenge. It creates in us, right? It alters our body chemistry because it allows us to come into choice. We can either face the challenge, face the resistance and run from it or numb it, or we can lean into that resistance. And like any risk, it alters our body chemistry when we lean into it and we open up to just be in that resistance, and we start to get curious and ask what could be possible for us. It literally takes our body's chemistry and shifts everything. It allows us to secrete hormones that actually radically heal our system. It also allows us to secrete chemicals that make us feel really good. So it's not just simply saying, I'm in a state of curiosity, I'm going to start to wonder what are the possibilities here for me to create. It also triggers this whole feel-good response. It also triggers our vagal nerve, which is representative of our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and relax system. And when we're in a place of rest and relax, guess what happens to our vessels? Our vessels actually vasodilate. So we literally have this expansive state happening. We breathe more deeply. Our blood vessels open up. Our heart rate actually attunes itself so that with every pump of your heart, it becomes more efficient in getting blood out to those working muscles, and you become more oxygenated. And guys, when oxygen flows, creativity flows. When oxygen flows, energy flows. So this is a wonderful time of year. If you're feeling constricted, which many of us experience. We're facing challenges, winter, it's constrictive, it's cold, it's dark, we face our fears, we come into this place and we're tight and we're in kind of the fear state. And now is the opportunity to step into birth. So first I want to tap into, how do we activate your senses? And activating your senses is we can do this anytime, but in spring, it's simply tapping into nature and allowing nature to be our reminder and our anchor. If you take a look outside, no matter where you are in the world, it smells different. Okay, even today in New York, it's actually freezing and the wind is whipping. It's probably colder than it's been in a few weeks, but there is still a distinct smell in the air. If you're attuned to it, if you tap into your senses, you can smell. There's a different smell in the air, and that is the smell of things in the earth shifting. Things are starting to bloom. There's a fragrance about them. And here's the thing that I would love to contribute as you are stepping into this spring equinox and wanting to step up and wanting to feel liberation and wanting to create more in your life. Smells from the blooming nature are this beautiful physical reminder, because we are physically attached to nature if we allow ourselves to be in relationship with it. When we smell that blooming, it is literally a reminder in our cells that it's time to birth something. And what's even more powerful is, just like nature, you don't need permission. You don't need permission. You don't need to go and ask anybody if it's okay to create something new, right? Because certainly outside, like the forsythia that's starting to pop up on this bush outside here, it's not asking anybody for permission. It didn't come to me and say, "Is it okay if I bloom, Diane?" It's like, "Oh, it's time. Time to create, time to birth, time to change." And so you don't need any permission. Just step into that. If you're feeling that soul's pull and you feel that little drip of excitement, lean into that. And I'm going to talk about that in our energy clearing exercises that I want to share with you. But it starts with the senses and allowing yourself just a little bit of time to be in relationship with nature and observe the freedom that nature offers you, and let it be your source of inspiration. Let it open up your senses. It's so glorious. And all it takes is a simple walk outside. And you don't have to be surrounded by nature. You could be in a city park and you could still smell the difference in the air. It's distinctive. Breathe it in and let it come in through the sense of smell, but also in your eyesight. And that's the last thing I want to touch on in senses is I was at a spiritual retreat last week, and one of the most powerful things that we leaned into and that I was really able to experience was the difference between using my eyes to look for things and see things out in a distance and try to focus. And focus is a big word for me personally. It's a powerful word. It's a word that I use to create. I like to create like a powerhouse. So when I'm focused, I know I create like a powerhouse. So I do a lot of energy clearing to support me feeling focused. I shifted something last week so deeply, and I'll never be the same. And I'm excited to share this with you. And instead of positioning my eyes to always be focused on looking for something, I'm now learning to drink in what I observe. Huge difference. And this puts me in a state of flow, and again allows me to stimulate my parasympathetic nervous system because I'm simply observing and witnessing all the beauty and drinking it in. My eyeballs literally feel like, I might do a whole training on this, but my eyeballs literally feel like they are now just relaxed and set back into my head without any strain. And it actually helps me to focus so much better because like I could feel my retina just opening up and expanding and resting against my pineal gland, which is in the center, which is where all of our creativity happens. And it's like I'm like in my skull again, but in a way that's centered and anchored. And I just get to drink it in. I get to drink in the possibilities. Isn't that beautiful? So I want to share that with you as well. So we can play a lot with the senses, but spring is a great time to, again, just let nature be our inspiration. Okay. Next thing I want to jam on is spring is ruled by the liver. Okay, and in traditional Chinese medicine, each season has an organ system that is governed by. So for spring, it's all about the liver, and the liver is a fascinating organ system. It's like our feeling center, and it is affected by all human emotions, every single one, and it's always processing. It's like the great strainer of our bodies. It's literally filtering through every chemical, every nutrient, everything that we have, every emotion, and keeping what's good and nourishing that and sending what isn't out to be excreted. So it's a powerhouse, but it's got to be functioning well. So how can we support our liver during the spring? There are a few things that I love to share with my clients. And again, I go into pretty dense training on this because the liver is like, just massively important, as is every organ, but something about the liver. It's just such a root. So since the spring is ruled by the liver, I mean, it's a particularly good time of year you want to nourish it with seasonal foods, right? And the fresh air that I was just talking about. And the liver is also, it's associated again with this idea of strengthening and stretching and our capacity to kind of filter and move. And I know that a lot of people feel stuck, quote unquote. And I know that I get a lot of people reaching out to me that say, Diane, I feel stuck and I want to be unstuck. And one of the first things I always say is, no one is ever stuck. You're never stuck. Your physiology is never stuck. You may feel stagnant. You may feel like there's darker energy that's keeping you in a cycle. But the thing is, your cells are constantly regenerating, growing, expanding, or contracting, creating toxicity and decaying. But there's never a point where it's not moving, okay? Emotions may feel like they're getting stuck and create this manic effect. So we actually have these mood swings, and it really impacts the liver. So what are some things we could do to clean and clear and tone the liver and stabilize your mood? A bunch of things. I'm going to offer a few quick tips. One is just to simply notice intense experiences in your environment. And the last two things I'm going to share is how we're going to do energy. We're going to do some energy clearing inside your body, on your environment, and then energy fielding, which is also really cool. And it allows us to attune to what's happening in your external environment and how you're balancing that with your internal environment. But just notice anything intense in your external environment: loud noises, bright colors, like pungent smells, very crowded areas. For us New Yorkers, I just basically described the subway system, right? So when you're experiencing anything that causes you to feel kind of overstimulated, slip into that observer seat, get silent, set your eyes back, relax those eyeballs against your retina, allow that vagal stimulation come into rest and relax, and just disengage. Just disengage as much as possible from all that intensity. That in and of itself, again, is going to create such a healing, nourishing set of reactions in the body that will help to really support your liver. Another thing you can do is when you feel hot, quote unquote, when you feel like that overstimulation, you can do a visualization. I'm going to offer a couple of visualizations, but this one is simple. You can close your eyes and just get into your breath and just imagine rubbing a cool, wet washcloth, like gently across your chest, your neck, the back of your neck. This is where we tend to get like angry and hot, right? So just if you close your eyes and just imagine doing that and give yourself that sensation with like circular loving motions around your neck, around your shoulders. Again, your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So even if you're imagining it, you're going to create that physiological response, which is really powerful. And I always say to my clients, you actually have everything you require already inside your physiology to feel any way you want to feel and to heal anything you want to heal. It's pretty powerful. So that's a little visualization you can do. Another thing you can do, and I'm going to talk about this when we talk about some energy movement, is in the morning, take a hairbrush and gently just stroke your inner thighs down to the tops of your feet. And when you do this, it's actually very calming and very soothing to the liver meridian. Okay, your meridians, basically your body is separated into these meridians and these points in traditional Chinese medicine. So you have these kind of root systems, like your nervous system, right? It's like branches of all these nerves. So when you do that, you're actually stimulating the liver meridian, which again is going to be very, very nourishing and very, very calming to your liver, especially if it's overstimulated. And another thing that you may want to consider, and spring is a great time to really start to focus on some long, slow cardio and perhaps pull back on some of the strenuous exercise that maybe you were doing like post New Year's. Like, gotta get after it, gotta do my hardcore workouts because I've got my New Year's resolutions, right? We all know how that goes. And if you work with me, you know, no, we ditch that first and foremost. But this is a great time of year to practice your Qigong. And you know what? Hit me in the comments. Hit me right now if you're interested in some specific liver Qigong exercises. I'd happily share that with you. That would be my pleasure and my honor, because I know how supportive that can be. So if you're interested in Qigong, particularly for the liver, I'll definitely share that out. But yeah, just taking long walks in nature is best. Get that smell in, stimulate those senses, drink it in. And again, very, very calming for the liver. Your liver, and we'll just do one little nutrition piece here, vibrates at the same frequency as sour tasting things. So this is a great time of year. Again, you want to be eating regionally, always, wherever you live, whatever the seasonal, whatever the regional produce is what you want to match up with. But you also want to be eating seasonally. So seasonal foods for spring in your region are going to be great. However, you also can introduce some sour foods into your diet. A huge fan of pickled vegetables, pickles, eggplant, lemon, vinegar, doing vinegar shots, all so great for the liver. And again, if you want a full list of liver toning foods and some recipes, hit me in the comments. I'll happily share that with you as well. So moving on, I want to hit a couple more points. I hope this training is helpful to you. Maybe it's going to inspire you to do some spring cleansing, right? Inside and out. Let me know. Let me know. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm moving through this pretty quickly. So next thing is energy gridding. And again, I can go into a whole training on this. This is so much fun. I freaking love energy gridding. I have done it since I was a kid. I have not always allowed myself to express this because I decided for many years to hide under being a very allopathic scientist. And it's like, oh, you know, crystals and that's all woo woo. But inside, like, oh, this is my love. This is my love. And now I get to share it out because I know how effective it's been for me in my own healing journey, and getting to incorporate that with what I've been able to learn as a physiologist. Man, it's so freaking powerful. And I love helping my clients heal with that combination of both the, you know, the integration of the physiology and metaphysiology. That's what I call it, metaphysiology. It's metaphysics, it's quantum physics, but it's metaphysiology. So yeah, you know what, crystals, they have a frequency. They vibrate at different frequencies. They happen to be very high vibrating matter. How does that not affect our bodies? Of course it does. Of course it affects our emotions, and of course it affects our intentions. And energy gridding in my scope of work and how it's really helped me in my journey has been about intentionality, has been about helping me tap into my intuition and allowing my intuition to speak to me. So energy gridding, there are many ways to do this. And there's no wrong or right way. It's all freaking amazing. The way that I have found to be most effective is what I'm going to share, because I can only share what I do for myself, right? And that's how I work with my clients as well. So it's about focused intention. Like I said, your you know, energy is always shifting, always moving. So I love to use crystals that call to me and are in alignment with what my intentions are. And then I create patterns that feel good to me. It's all about intuition and play here. So with regard, I'll give you like a few things that we can just kind of run through. Like, what do you need, right? I mean, basic things that you might want are some crystals, obviously. And again, what calls to you? So my sister was just in Burma, and she brought back, I love jade. Jade is like a family crystal for us. Like it's a stone, not a crystal, but it's very, very high frequency. And it's just very meaningful to me, to my family, to my ancestry. So interesting. My sister went to Burma, brought me back this beautiful jade elephant. And I feel it. I feel its radiance when I hold it. I was in San Diego last week, and I went to this fabulous crystal shop, and I actually had a necklace made for my sister with a blue jade elephant on it. So talk about same wavelength, right? How funny is that? So this is going to be part of my energy grid for sure. I have rose quartz. Rose quartz is very, very special to me. It represents love. It represents expansion. It also represents the ability to to just really love on yourself, nourish yourself, nurture yourself. And that's huge. Jade, again, is meaningful to me in my family, but it also represents prosperity and expansion. And I hold the codes to expansion. I know that when people get around me, they feel like, wow, you know what? I could accomplish anything. And that's what I do. So Jade is that for me, and that helps me tap into my brilliance. So find crystals that speak to you, and then you're going to just need a little space. You can put these on a piece of wood even, or like just like a tiny little cloth, whatever feels good to you. Some people like to create a geometric pattern using sacred geometry. That's cool too, but it can be very, very simple. The next thing you want to do is grab your intentions or your goals, right? And if you've worked with me, you did some work at the beginning of the year on aligning your goals and really working on manifestation. And we created kind of a human body grid, and we called in the feelings, right? What are the feelings we're looking to call in this year? And then letting our goals be in alignment with that. And that's being very intentional. It's not just like, I want to accomplish these things because they sound good. It's like, well, what is the feeling I'm after? And then embodying that feeling every moment and being in that frequency. So you're matching what you're calling in so that you manifest like that. So you want to pull out that piece of paper. If you haven't, just simply start writing down, like, what are you looking to feel right now? What are your goals, and how is that going to assist you in feeling that way? It always comes back to your feeling center. I know I'm running through this really fast, but I just want to get this out there to hopefully get you excited about doing this kind of stuff for the spring equinox. And sage or Palo Santo, anything that you can use to, sage is great because it just cleanses the area. So you can light some sage, get a smudge kit, cleanse your area, just out of whatever energy is there. And then you want to have kind of a focus stone. I've used amethyst crystal points in the past. I love amethyst. Again, it speaks to me. Easy for me to say. Selenite is great, or clear quartz. Clear quartz is a very powerful crystal because it actually magnifies the strength of other crystals. That's its frequency. And so you can place that as your focus stone in the center of your energy grid. Now, again, this has to speak to you. You can grid out a whole room. You can put crystals in the corners of your room and grid it out that way. What I always come back to with my clients in kind of a step-by-step approach to an energy grid, whether you're doing an energy grid like in a small space, or you're doing a whole room, or, I energy grid my gyms. I used to do a huge one in my gyms when I owned gyms. It's really about placing that written intention at your grid base and really stating your intentions, saying out loud, I'm calling in the feelings of abundance. I'm calling in the feelings of expansion, of love, of focus, of strength, of excitement. What is it you're looking to feel? And then being very, very specific about, well, what are the things, like maybe to you, your association with expansiveness and freedom is being able to travel. And so what does that look like to you? And how can you start doing that now? And just being really specific about the feelings you're looking to call in. And then you activate your grid as you're calling in your intentions with emotion. So it's like almost like you're part of this frequency, right? Your body is radiating all these different frequencies. Your heart has the highest frequency. So when you start to feel these emotions that make you feel good, you expand and your chest literally opens up and you're radiating that out. And you want to almost blast that in alignment with your crystals. It's just so much fun. Here's the deal. It doesn't matter what you believe or don't believe. You can't deny your physiology. And what this does for you is it puts you in intention. It puts you into a state of radical health and healing because you're literally creating wonderful internal, right? You're creating an internal environment of nourishment and healing. And that feels freaking awesome. And that's what energy gridding, that's what I always make the primary goal of energy gridding about. And it's just beautiful to look at crystals and know that they're vibrating at a frequency. I mean, like this is just fun. Okay? It's fun, it's play, it's curiosity. So moving on, I want to share just 2 last tips with you. One is energy clearing for your body. And again, this is a huge topic, and this is a big part of the work that I do with my clients. But one tip I want to share right now that you can do anytime, it's super easy, and especially this time of year. Again, spring equinox, this is about birth, okay? We want to tap into our feminine big time, and the feminine energy. So in Kundalini, okay, Kundalini is a flow. It's this beautiful dance between masculine and feminine. And many of us get out of balance and create a situation where we're operating more from masculine, which is just taking action, which is just getting out and doing for the sake of doing. And when we talk about setting intentions and chasing after goals, it does become very action oriented. And we don't allow enough time and enough space, really. It's the space to receive the intuition, to receive the ideas that, oh, you get this wonderful, brilliant idea, and then you can take an action that's actually aligned with it, right? But if we're cutting off our ability to receive, if we're cutting off our creativity, we're cutting off our feminine, then we go into a very forced, very stressful experience, which is no good for our physiology. We want to have this beautiful dance going so that we can always operate in a state of flow, again, where we're stimulating more of our parasympathetic nervous system to nourish us. And there's a time for sympathetic drive, but it's not, we shouldn't be operating from sympathetic drive all the time, which is what most of us are, which is why we're in a stress chaos state, which is why we're burning out our adrenals and having heart attacks at the age of 35. So we want to open up to receiving. So how can we allow in more of the feminine and expand? Simple exercise you can do to energy clear your body with the intention of opening up your creative, feminine receiving. And I love doing this. I do it all the time. So again, you're going to use the magic touch of your own healing hands, rub them together, and get a little blood circulating into your fingertips, okay? And again, it's all about frequency and energy. Everything is energy. So you want to move some energy around, you're going to take your hands and you're going to start to, you can massage, you can tickle, whatever feels good to you, but you're going to start to literally create a massive amount of circulation around the left side of your body, around your receiving. Oh, yeah. So for me, I actually have trigger points back here. So I like to just actually get in with my fingers and just really press on those trigger points. I have some other tools that I use, but your own healing touch is so powerful. And again, you can tickle the area, you can just massage the area, and you're going to do a visualization here too, closing your eyes while you're stimulating the left side of your body. And it could be down your arm, it could be into your hand, whatever feels good to you. And as you are doing this, you're going to visualize your guardian angels, God, universe, whoever you believe in higher consciousness that's there, that is unseen, that you can call upon for support. I love to call upon my guardian angels because I'm surrounded by angels. I always have been. That's how I was raised. That's what feels good to me. That's what speaks to me. So I call upon my guardian angels like Michael, like C.H.I.L.L, and I just visualize them literally gathering up ideas for me, gathering up opportunities for me, gathering up potential, and just handing it to me. And I'm visualizing that as I am massaging and working on the left side of my body and opening up to receiving all of those divine downloads. And I am sitting in a bath, a freaking bath of appreciation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for guarding me and protecting me and giving me light and giving me opportunities. I am so grateful. I am so open to receiving. And I just work on that. And I do that perhaps when I wake up in the morning, maybe at bedtime, or just whenever I feel like I'm a little bit constricted, and I'll tap in, I'll do that. Quick energy clearing, move that energy. It's great if you're just like in overdrive mode, stress mode, rushing around, and you just stop, breathe, and just sit and, okay, I'm going to open up to receiving. It's spring, it's creation time. So we're tapping into that. See, I feel all relaxed and blissed out right now. I love it. Oh, it's so good. So, so good.